welcome to the Sports Dynasty Podcast, your stage, our dynasty. This is Tret. There's no Trevor today. Oh, that's awkward. You probably realize this is I'm the one doing the intro for once. This is yours truly, Juan, and he's running solo today. I really did just go the rock and said that in first, and wow. I'm gonna leave that in there. That's comedy. All right, so I'm Juan. Like you all know, I'm running solo today. There is no Trevor for this episode only, hopefully. So I guess you and I just gonna have to write it together. This is going to be your week 7. We're almost halfway done with the season. Our week 7 preview with a little bit of a recap for Monday's games, or at least the first one. That's the only one worth going for, even though the last one might be a little funny to everybody. But before all that, I have to do everything Trevor usually does. Please go ahead and like our videos. But you know what? Hold up. You guys do realize we have a YouTube channel too, right? It's not just like Spotify, iTunes, and whatever the platform that our guys at India, to you guys, is for you guys right here. Shout out. Because India, the actual country, India, they download our content all the freaking time. Actually download more than the United States. I don't know if that's embarrassing or that's something to be proud of. You guys could figure that out. But they do their thing. So, besides those platforms, we do have a YouTube channel too. I'm just saying. You could like and please subscribe and comment there. You know what I'm saying? If you want feedback, that's one of the fastest ways because it's directly under the video. You can even timestamp where you didn't like or what you agreed with, disagreed, whatever. You could timestamp it there. You could tell us everything on YouTube comments. Hello, we got it there. But besides that, like, share, subscribe on there. Please rate our stuff and write a comment or why you liked it actually, I probably prefer you not to put why you dislike it on iTunes and Spotify and those places. But hey, if I'm nothing, I'm definitely just real. There's anything to take away from me, especially me. No offense. I'm real. So I'll let you know. Please just rate and say why you love it. And if you don't love it, just don't say anything. That's all I ask for on all our platforms. iTunes, Spotify, iHeartradio, Google Play Radio. I think Amazon. We're on Amazon Music now. There's a place called Geezer on that. We're on a lot of places. So just, Sports Dynasty's everywhere. Everywhere. So just go ahead. Again, in order for it to be a dynasty, don't we have to take over everything? So we're there. And again, you guys are always more than welcome to go on ahead and come on the show anytime you want. So again, hit us up. Trevor and I are easily accessible, especially through the Facebook group that we made, Sports Dynasty Podcast there, and our business page on Facebook too. Now I know you guys are tired of the 3 minutes of rambling that I just went through trying to promote our stuff. You know how it is. We're not there yet, but we're definitely getting up there. Thank you guys, by the way. We love you all. Thank you very much. So now to go on to stuff that you actually care about, football. So there were 2 games on Monday because of COVID-19, and the last one, the original Monday night game, Cardinals at Dallas, I didn't expect it to go the way it went. It was an absolute annihilation of the Dallas Cowboys. A 38-10 beat down by the Arizona Cardinals. So if you guys bet the Cardinals, good job. Mind you, Kyler Murray only completed 9 passes out of 24 attempts, but he averaged 20 yards per throw, which is absolutely ridiculous. If you thought that the Dallas defense couldn't get any worse, it did. And then after the game, I believe it was Tuesday, Wednesday right now I'm recording. On Tuesday, reports came out, don't know if it's true, but reports came out that the players are just not into the coaching staff at all. They already lost faith in them. It's only been 6 games, and they already lost faith in them, and they're already going against them. Their season is now over if it wasn't already after Dak's unfortunate, horrific injury. Their season is finished. So yeah, eventually they're going to start sliding down this division. Mind you, this division is the worst division that's ever existed in the NFC least. They're going to start sliding down very soon. I don't know if they're going to be last because the division is this bad. But if a team has that much dysfunction and the players and the coaches just clash the way that they're clashing, there's no saving it. It's over. Pack it in. He's probably one of the worst owners I've ever encountered, to be 100% honest. It's really bad. Even starting in the 90s with the dynasty that he didn't really build much. It was Jimmy Johnson. And the fact that he holds that credit, even though he got rid of Jimmy Johnson and it completely imploded after 1995, it's insane how he continues to destroy this team over and over and over again. And it's sad because this is one of the biggest fan bases in the NFL. This is quote unquote America's team. And they're just gross. It's hard. I can't even say it. Shell themselves because they've been a dysfunction, not this bad, but since I watched football back in 2007. Mind you, 2007 they made the playoffs and just sucked. But this is something that I've been seeing from them since then, since 2008, when they had the epic 9-3 to 9-7 meltdown of December that completely messed up their season. 2008. Like, they haven't really done anything, and it's sad because these fans, I would say they deserve better, but they're so delusional. I don't know they deserve better, to be honest. So it's insane how once a storied franchise who's been irrelevant since in the 1960s, I believe, has fallen so low 50 years later and now going on 60 years later. It's insane. And to be honest, until Jerry Jones finally goes away, this is not going to change. They're never going to be relevant ever. It's just that simple. I hope you guys realize this, Cowboys fans. I'm sorry to say. I'm sure everybody's been telling you this for years. But let me and other media people tell you that you guys are just not going to be anything. I'm sorry. It's insane. I don't even have to go through the game. There's no reason. Everybody knows what happened. It's the Cowboys. They're one of the teams that we don't have to go through because everybody knows what happened. They are one of the most infamous, the most controversial teams in sports because everybody has one opinion on them. Except me. I don't care about you guys. But most people have an opinion on them. So you guys know what happened. You guys saw the beatdown was ridiculous. When you got two receivers on the Cardinals side that caught at least 60-plus yard pass. 160-plus yard pass. It's insane. That Christian Kirk touchdown was absolutely embarrassing. Like, no. It's not. I'm tired of this. Let's me move on to the other Monday night game that actually made some significance because it's actually included two possible playoff teams. The Kansas City Chiefs. The score doesn't say how they handled the Buffalo Bills at Orchard Park on Monday at 5:00 Eastern time. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a game that is the best game of his career with a 160-yard rush performance. And what the story of the game is to one stat. It's not any of the player stats. It's not it's this box score stat that you need to know how this game went if you unfortunately missed it because they had it at 5:00 in Eastern time in the West Coast. This is 2:00, so nobody was able to watch it then. They were at work. But anyway, that's a different rant for another day. This one stat you need to see. The Chiefs had the ball for 37 minutes and 45 seconds, while the Buffalo Bills had it for the remaining 22 minutes and 15 seconds. That's all you need to know about this game. You get that time of possession difference, which is 15 minutes and 30 seconds. You know that they got dominated, and that's exactly what happened. This game was not really close, especially after halftime. This game wasn't close. This Buffalo Bills defense is even worse than I thought, and there is a massive problem. Patrick Mahomes was still very, very, very efficient for 20 of 26 passing, 225 yards, I'm sorry. 2 touchdowns, absolutely stationary, and only got sacked once. So, this is really bad. Plus, he got an additional 36 yards rushing. And that embarrassing almost third down conversion in the red zone right before they wind up scoring. The Williams scored. This defense is a problem. They're a lot worse than I thought. And Tre'Davious White was there this time, so that excuse is out the window. This is a problem. Buffalo has a problem. I'm sorry. It's like they became a little bit too reliant on the offense now when they've never been like that since the 90s. And Josh Allen was horrific again for the second straight game, so it might be time to start panicking. And it might be time for me to retract my earlier statements. And I, unfortunately, might have fallen for the September trap. Because this happens every year. There's always a September baby. And then when late October and November rolls, they become what they're supposed to be. So It's still early because it's been 2 games. He's been sensational for 4 out of the 6. This is these 2 games, but it's 2 games straight. And one of them is against conference challenger to get seeded into the Super Bowl. He was horrific in 2 straight games. No, I'm sorry, 2, because Tennessee is technically still a challenger too for a Super Bowl spot for the AFC. So 2 contenders, he looked like garbage against. This is very concerning. Only threw for 122 yards, and that pick was interesting. This is not good. Not good at all. He has been playing like garbage. Again, when your defense allows an extra 15 minutes of time possession for the Kansas City Chiefs, that doesn't help you. However, in that first half, I don't even know if you were throwing for 50% of your passes. So that is a huge problem. It's 2 games that are very problematic. And your division, although one of those teams did look so bad on Sunday, unfortunately, your biggest weakness on defense was looking like your run defense. They're actually thrive at when they have a healthy offensive line. So Buffalo, if I am you, I am very scared of your New England Patriots. Just saying. They may not have to throw, which is their big weakness. They may not have to throw to beat you. So get ready, get stifling, because I believe in 2 weeks, you will have to play the New England Patriots at your house for 1 of 2 times. Get ready. This is bad. So people are hyping up the Kansas City Chiefs offense because they apparently know how to run the ball. I don't think we should be going there yet. I think it was more boo-boo Bills than hooray Chiefs. Me personally. If you watch those games, I haven't seen holes like that since like the resurrections of Moses plating up the Red Sea. I don't think I've ever seen holes that big before. It was insane. And mind you, we've seen Green Bay last year against San Francisco 49ers. It was embarrassing. An embarrassing performance. Very embarrassing. It's not good. I know I've been hard on a lot of teams for the past 2 weeks, but now this year, now that we're at the 21st of right now on October, it's the week 7 coming up, you really start to get a feel for every team now. They're becoming who they are. So now it's worrisome. And I know I'm going to go easier on my New England Patriots because, hey, I'm on COVID, no practices, the lack of offensive linemen being healthy and being in the right positions. But they're scaring me too. I think you remember me destroying them last episode, and I'm probably going to show them a little bit before we get there later on when they have to play the 49ers. So I'm going to destroy them too, but at least they have excuses. You guys are basically healthy and you guys playing like garbage. So what's going on? All right, so now that's over. We went through it. It's been 10 minutes going over this. Let's go ahead and go on to the picks for week 7. And although Trevor isn't here, I do have his picks, so I'll be saying both of them. All right. So let's go on with the extremely useless Thursday night game, Giants at Eagles, and the Eagles are favored by 4.5 points. I'm 100% picking the Eagles at home here. Carson Wentz has been starting to look like himself the last 2 weeks. Great for the Eagles. Unfortunately, they're exactly where they were last December, and they have nothing because they're on the hospital again. I guess Carson Wentz just likes to play with practice squad backup receivers and his actual ones, but I don't know what to explain, but I don't know. So I'm picking him. He's been playing well, although it is Thursday, and Thursday have this mojo where everybody doesn't play like they're supposed to. So this is definitely could be a Giants win. But I will pick the Eagles, and I will 100% pick the spread. I was unprepared and did not put this thing up. Trevor picked Philadelphia too. So we're both going with Philly this week. And he didn't tell me the spread, so I'm going with the spread. Now, another useless game, Bills at Jets. The Bills are favored by 13 points. This is a bounce back game for the Bills. Get ready for the Patriots the week after that. So they got a nice little bye week. The Jets are at home, and the Bills are set favored by 13 points. The Jets have covered every spread for the last 6 weeks, and I don't see any reason why they wouldn't now. Josh Allen will look like the way he looked in September. There's going to be an annihilation. They will win this game, and I'm going to assume that Trevor picked the same thing, and he did. Browns at Bengals. Browns are favored by 3.5 points. I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. There is no signs yet that Baker Mayfield is healthy, so he's going to play like garbage once again. And Joe Burrow had a pretty decent bounce-back game against a much better defense last week against the Indianapolis Colts. Although he unfortunately didn't win the game, they blew a 21-0 lead. So, yeah, that happens. The Browns, big. I usually give rookies about 3 years before I start calling them, label them bust, unless they play that bad. Last 2 years he's been playing so poorly. It's really bad. I just about ready to. I think it might be fine to put his name in that long 20-something name list of failed quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns. And it's unfortunate because this is probably their best team in a very long time. So I think Joe Burrow is gonna finally get his second win, his first win in the division. I think they're split. I think I had them splitting originally when we started the project last all season. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals. So obviously the Browns will not cover the spread, and Trevor picked the same thing. So we picked the same team so far. Every week we always have one or two differences anyway. So Washington football team will be hosting the Dallas Cowboys. For some reason, there is no spread here. I don't know why. I'm going to still guess that the Cowboys will be favored probably by like 1 or something like that. So this might just be a straight up pick 'em. This is a tough one. Kyle Allen is garbage. I'm going to guess he's still starting for some decrepit reason. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys very reluctantly, and I'm going to. There literally is no spread here, so I guess betting on them if you want to for some reason. I don't know why you'd even think about trying to bet the Cowboys or anyone here. But if you do, I guess it's just straight up pick them. So I guess it's not even worth the money to even try. So I got Dallas. Washington got clobbered for the most part. Even though it took a failed two-point conversion attempt for the Giants to win, they were still getting them for most of that game. I don't know what's up with Washington. I was dead wrong about them, so I don't know what to say. No point of me even talking about them any further. They're both garbage. This is a straight up tank bull. So Cowboys. Speaking of tank bull, Lions at Falcons. Lions are favored by 2.5 points. Julio Jones got hurt again last week. I don't know what's up with him. The Falcons have a lot of work to do this offseason, but they have a lot of contracts they can't get rid of. Like we were talking about Matt Ryan getting moved, but that contract is so ridiculous. They more than likely won't be able to move him at all. I was just going with the fact that maybe they'll just cut him and just have to pay him. But no, they're going to keep him. He's going to stay for another year, so I guess he's not leaving. If I'm the Falcons, though, if there's a chance, I would definitely shop Julio Jones. Calvin Ridley is starting to really emerge. And they always find ways to find receivers. They're almost as good as Pittsburgh, honestly, about finding receiver talent. So they should be able to find someone to have to take over the number 2 spot, have Karen really at number 1, because he's starting to get reliable. The hits and all because he was pretty durable before these last few years. I guess they're catching up to him now. All these hamstring injuries, leg injuries he's starting to have the last 2 years, it's starting to catch up with him. If I was the Falcons, I'll actually at least think about shopping Julio Jones again. You're more likely going to get some big capital, especially from a team who needs a receiver, like the Patriots, for example, or any receiving help team like that. Maybe the Colts, maybe or something like that. I went on that big tangent. The Lions a little bit more complete, but I'm still gonna go Atlanta. I'm gonna give them a win. They both suck. Detroit, there's supernatural things here where you can't really explain. Detroit always goes against your expectations. For all I know, so I'm picking Atlanta. Detroit might win this game. I would not bet this game at all. I would never even think about putting money in this game. So don't do it, please. Don't do it. And Mr. Trevor picked the Atlanta Falcons too. So we're together on this again. The Green Bay Packers will be visiting the Houston Texans. The spread is 3.5. A bounce back game for the Packers here. The Texans are not good. They are completely horrid. However, they do have a top player in Deshaun Watson, who, if I'm not mistaken, is starting to creep his way back up in the PFF scale of grading. He has an 83 grade, I believe, when he was averaging the 70s almost the whole year. So he's getting his playback. So this will be a tough game. I don't think the Packers will blow them out necessarily, but I think they will cover this 3.5 point spread. They are still by and far the better team, and there is nothing in that Houston defense going to be able to stop Aaron Rodgers, especially after a loss the way he lost. So the Texans won't be able to beat this. They won't be able to win this game. Green Bay got this, easily covering the 3 point spread, but I don't think they win by more than 10, though. I feel like this might be a 27-17 game. But Packers will be comfortable with this. And Trevor agrees. He has the Green Bay Packers winning also. Now, probably an underrated game that no one's probably not going to care about. The Panthers are going to the Superdome against New Orleans Saints, and the Saints are favored by 7.5 points. I expect this to be a pretty fun shootout, but I'm still going to go with New Orleans Saints. I don't think they'll cover, though. This is a game that I will probably bet money on the Panthers. I think they'll play them tough. They usually do about once a year. This defense has been playing pretty decent the last few weeks. They're fast, they're young, they're inexperienced, but they do get to where they have to go pretty quickly, like I explained last week. So they should be able to get on them. However, I believe the Saints will be getting Michael Thomas back, assuming he's not going to punch another teammate in the jaw. So they will be a lot more dangerous. They'll be basically fully powered. I'm not sure if Janoris Jenkins is finally going to come back as the cornerback too, but they're going to be, I will go with 95% healthy. They're going to have the full offense at least. So I'm going to go with Noodle on Breeze to win and to not cover the spread. This is going to be a good game. I think the Panthers will bounce back to that really bad loss last week against the Chicago Bears, getting locked up the way they got locked up against that defense. So Saints got it. Michael Thomas will be back. So disrespectful by me. I love Michael Thomas though. Top receiver. Great receiver. A little bit sensitive, but great receiver. He'll do his damage. I think the Saints will win this game, just not by 7.5. And Mr. Trevor will be going with New Orleans as well. I will skip this game because this is probably game of the week. Seahawks at Cardinals. Cardinals are not favored, my bad. The Seahawks are favored by 3.5. 4-2 Cardinals, 5-0 Seattle Seahawks, coming off of a bye. From that reason alone, Seattle should win this game. And it was funny is that when you go back into history between the Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks, for some reason they beat each other at each other's houses. Don't know why. The Arizona is pretty good at going up to Seattle and giving these guys a fight and a punch in the jaw. Don't know why they do it, but they do a good job at it. So they'll be at Cardinals. I'm almost guaranteeing a win by the Seattle Seahawks, and I think they'll be covering the spread. I still not liking what I see at all from the offense of the Arizona Cardinals. I think they just came up against a disgusting, dysfunctional Dallas Cowboys team, and that's why they looked the way they looked. I'm still not anywhere near convinced that they're anywhere near good. I think that those 3 weeks at September was just an anomaly. I think they are a 500 team, and they will get there, and it will start here, losing this game. I don't know what's up with Cliff Kingsbury's play calling. I'm not sure why Kyler Murray's not using that big arm he has. But at least he started to run a bit. So maybe if they implement that, this will be a very tough game for the Seahawks. But something tells me he's not going to do that. He's going to revert back to that stupid short passing, not really testing a horrid Seattle defense. So feeling that, I'm definitely going with Seattle. Russell Wilson's going to do his damage. And I have one complaint. Again, I wish Trevor was here for this. Why in heck am I getting reports that Seattle's going to go for Antonio Brown when he's suspensions? I don't understand this. At what point does Seattle look like they need a wide receiver? I guess they're going to gear up on offense because they know they can't stop anyone. Is that what it is? Because they need defense. They need everything on defense. Why are you going for an off? USA. Whatever. As that's what they want, that's what they're going to get. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm telling you, that's going to haunt them in the playoffs. The fact that they can't stop anyone. There's some good teams they got to go up against. I don't know why they're not trying to gear up on defense. But whatever. Maybe they'll shut me up next month. But yeah, Seattle is going to win, and they're going to cover the 3.5 point spread. And Trevor agrees. Let's go with Jaguars, or Jaguars, that people say for some reason. At Chargers, Chargers are favored by 7.5 points. I do not know why that spread is so high. I understand that Jacksonville reverted back to what we all thought they were, a disgusting mess of a franchise. But the Chargers aren't that good either, and they're very notorious, almost as notorious as the Atlanta Falcons for giving up leads. I don't know if they're going to cover this. This is a trap game to me, at least when it comes to parlay. If I'm people, I would rather bet Jaguars against the 7.5 versus the Chargers being favored by 7.5. I'm still going to pick the Chargers to win at home, but I think it's going to be one of those sloppy messes for some reason. I just got that feeling in me. Gardner is due for another game because people are really starting to down him now. We're starting to talk about him negatively. So I expect a bounce back game from Gardner Minshew and to show people that he's not that bad. And we haven't seen a big game from Mr. Robinson in the backfield in a while. This might happen here. The Chargers are a good team to go up against when it comes to the run. So he'll have a bounce back game too. They're going to do some things that we didn't expect to happen at all. Well, besides me telling you that's going to happen. But I'm still going to go with the safe pick and go the Chargers, but against 7.5 spread. They will not cover 7.5 at all. And again, Trevor agrees. Maybe we'll have a... All right, let's go with the Monday night game. This is a good one. The somehow, some way, holy crap, 5-1 Bears will be visiting the 4-2 Los Angeles Rams, and the Rams are favored by 6. I did mention last week that the Rams do absolutely love to take games off. Don't know why they like to take games off, but they do. And they took one off last week against San Francisco 49ers. This played like absolute garbage. So, I don't think they'll take this one off. However, the Bears defense are white hot right now. And in the past, the Bears has definitely given the Rams the work. I'm going to pick Chicago. They're going to go 6-1. I like their defense. They've always given Sean McVay troubles the last 2 years if they play last week. I know they definitely played in 2018. They beat the ever-loving crap out of the Rams. They made Jared Goff look like a freaking high school quarterback. I'm going to go with that. I think their defense is going to be able to do the same things. I believe that Nick Foles should be enough to at least be able to move the ball against this Ram defense. I'm not going to exactly say that they're going to light them up because I don't think that's possible. Especially with Aaron Donald just probably destroying that Chicago offensive line. So I continue to not expect anything from David Montgomery. But I believe this is going to be a grinded game. It's going to be a grinded game. This is going to be a grinded game most definitely. I'm going to go with the hot hand. I'm going to go with the hot hand Chicago Bears. I'm going to go with that great defense. I'm going to go with the fact that Jared Goff is going to shrivel a bit. I'm just hoping that this doesn't mess anything up with the Rams because I actually really do like watching this team. And I think this team is definitely a playoff team. It'll be pretty unfortunate if they start folding because they'll put them down to 4-3 in a really tough division. And that'll really bring them back. So I wouldn't necessarily say they can afford to lose. But I don't think they want to. Especially going in the division they're in. While the Bears are going to go sitting pretty, going 6-1 and winning the division. Wow. 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 That's insane. All right. I cannot believe they're 4-1. 5-1, I'm sorry. They can't believe they're 5-1. They're not that good at all. They're that, you've guys seen the memes with the new game, the Among Us, the imposter memes. They're definitely the imposter out of all the division winners. They're not good at all. They're really not. They're really not. It's insane. If Trubisky was winning earlier, come on, bro. Well, anyway, let's go on to the games. The games of the weeks. Starting with, this one kind of, not really, but Chiefs at Broncos, and the Chiefs are favored by 9.5 points. The Broncos are coming off a pretty, I want to say a statement win, but pretty good win, beating the New England Patriots at Foxborough. I don't think it's going to matter, to be 100% honest. Pretty sure Chiefs are going to rout them, and I think they're barely going to cover this 9.5. So they probably win by 10, 11, 12. They probably win somewhere in the late double digits. They played against a injury-riddled, COVID-riddled, non-practice-riddled New England Patriots. In all honesty, the Chiefs' defense is not New England. They don't have secondary. They don't have anything remotely close to the New England Patriots' defense outside of a better pass rush. But the way that Drew Lock played, I did not enjoy all that much. He did make some ridiculous big throws, though, to Tim Patrick. And I can't even say his name. The old guy, 085, we'll call him. He made some big throws. But then he threw those picks. He threw those ducks. When you're going against the Patriots secondary, that's what's going to happen to you most of the time. Unless your name is Russell Wilson. But they were not. I didn't enjoy watching that part at all. Which is why it pissed me off. Why the Patriots lost so bad. Because... come on now. But they still were able to move the ball against Patriots because that run game is going to be the key. I don't know. For the life of me, don't understand why Philip Lindsay doesn't play. He's not the starting running back. He's better, so much better to me than Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon is not good. He's never been that good. So I don't know why he just automatically all of a sudden took over the starting job from the Broncos backfield. Don't get it. Don't understand it. Never will understand it. Especially when Lindsay's been a 1,000-yard rusher since he came into the league. So I don't get why he's not starting. I don't get why he's not the bell cow. I don't get it. But that's on the freaking Broncos' problem. It's ridiculous. If Melvin Gordon, was he injured, or was it injury and him getting in trouble? I don't remember. But if Philip Lindsay starts, I think the Broncos will give these guys a bigger fight than I think. But I think Chief will do their Chief magic and pull away. Mahomes will have a nice game and bounce back. But I'm not anticipating, because the Broncos defense is better than everybody thought. I'm not anticipating Allaire going off anywhere near as I went off against the Buffalo Bills. He should get bottled up here. So you don't have to worry about that, fantasy owners. You're playing against Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't think you're going to get that many points, so you should be fine. But I'm still going to pick Chiefs. I'm going to take the safe pick and go with the spread, because I think it might take a minute. And Trevor went with the same team. So 2 games left, guys. 2 games left. No, 3. I'm sorry, 3. Let's go with the Sunday night game. Buccaneers at Las Vegas Raiders. And the Buccaneers are favored by 3.5. This is going to be a very interesting game. I can't wait to watch it. I'm actually pretty excited for it. So hopefully it won't disappoint me. The Raiders, I believe, were in a bye. Yeah, they just came off a ridiculous win against the Kansas City Chiefs with a great game plan that Buffalo, I guess, tried to replicate but did not work at all. So, because they did, the Buffalo Bills were playing zone, but they didn't bottle up any of the short stuff and did not bottle up Helaire at all. So they completely failed that attempt. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay, going off this great win they had against the Green Bay Packers, making Aaron Rodgers' company look like garbage. Very good job of that defense. Hopefully they will stay disciplined and they give Raiders a run for their money. I think the Raiders are going to give them a fight. I think that John Gruden I believe he's really starting to coach his ass off. To be honest, I think he's been doing a magnificent job all year. Not going to say he's worth that 10-year, $100 million contract. I don't know about all that. But I will say that he is coaching his ass off. Derek Carr is playing, I think, with a chip on his shoulder. He's playing absolutely sensationally. If they have more wins, he'll be MVP candidate, to be honest. Unfortunately, Josh Jacobs will not be a factor here, because you already know about that Tampa Bay defensive front, and when it comes to the run, they don't do that. You can't run on them. So it's going to be up to Derek Carr. It's going to be up to the deep passing game with Henry Ruggs, and I don't think it's going to come through. I think the Tampa Bay will bottle up, and I think it'll take a while, but they're going to get the double-digit win here on Sunday Night Football. 3.5 spread, they'll cover that. Since I said they went double digits, right? They're going to cover that. They're going to be good. It's going to be scary for the NFC if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers look the way they've looked the last week. It's going to be very bad for the NFC. But for all we know, they could revert back to the Thursday night game before that and look all undisciplined, and like garbage. But we'll see. If they're starting to get things together, it's going to be very scary, especially in January when you have that guy who may be old, but he still has that clutch gene in Tom Brady. So, NFC, I apologize in advance. So, game of the week. The undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers will be visiting the undefeated COVID-riddled Tennessee Titans. And the Titans are favored by 1. Is basically pick 'em. Winner take all. This is going to be a great game. And it's at 1 o'clock too. So I guess I'm not surprised, because the Sunday night games is actually good. So there's no reason to flex it. But this is going to be very, very entertaining. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be awesome. I've been high on Steelers all years. They're my Super Bowl pick for this year to win it all. They have not disappointed me at all. But they unfortunately had a big loss, losing linebacker Devin Bush to an ACL tear last week. So I'm very interested to see if they're still going to be able to bottle up the run. with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is a slow starter, so we'll see what happens in, the mid third and fourth quarters when Derrick Henry, that's usually when he turns it on. But we're going to really find out if Steelers can mask that loss, because if I'm not mistaken, they don't really have a good linebacker after that. I think they have a mediocre one, but not a good one, as good as Darren Bush has been playing. So this is going to be very interesting. This is going to be put more pressure to that ridiculously good defensive line they have with Stephon Tuitt, with Cameron Hayward, with TJ Watt and company. They have more work on their plate because they don't have that good linebacker that's right behind them to plug in those gaps. So this is going to be very interesting to see how Mike Tomlin really puts this together. Tennessee, on the other hand, they're the other imposter to me. They barely won all of their games. They don't look dominant in any stretch outside of the Buffalo win 2 weeks ago. And I don't believe in them. The only thing that I'll admit is that Ryan Tannehill is freaking balling. He has an 89 grade in PFF, which is basically elite status. It's insane how good he is. As of right now, he's worth the money. Probably more. He's absolutely sensational. They're doing great things there. And with A.J. Brown back, he has his full core back. This is going to be tough. This is going to be the real test for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, who a lot of people are low on, to be honest. A lot of people are low on the Pittsburgh Steelers for some godforsaken reason. But yet they're high on the Ravens when they basically played the same teams and one didn't lose, one did. I know they played the Chiefs, but look how they looked against the damn Chiefs. You know what I mean? And then they played the same opponents. So the Ravens are so much better than the freaking Steelers. Because you see all everybody's power rankings, most of them, the Ravens are higher than the Steelers for some reason. They play the same opponents, but the Ravens played one good team and they got their ass whooped. While Pittsburgh's still undefeated. I don't really understand how that works. I don't get it. But whatever. I just don't get it. But they're going to have a good test here. And I think this is going to be the game where people really start to get on this Pittsburgh Steelers bandwagon and join me. Honestly speaking, I think Ben Roethlisberger is getting held back by the coach because I think they're trying to save him for January. If you guys haven't noticed, it's probably the shortest attempts and shortest yards per throw he's had in a very long time, if not ever. Probably outside of the first few years of his playing career. So I think they're really holding him back. But every once in a while, you'll see the gun. He still has the arm. It's still there. So we may see a little bit of it because I think he'll have to use it in this game. I think that the Tennessee Titans are going to bottle up James Conner, which I'm not high on. I'm not really fond. Honestly, I really think the Steelers should have really tried to get Le'Veon Bell. Maybe he didn't want to go there. Maybe they didn't want to go because of all the bad blood they had. But when it comes to me, if I'm trying to win football games, I'm sucking it up and trying to get the best thing. And everybody knows I get with that line, with that system, it was by and far the best that Le'Veon Bell's ever been. He actually looked like a football player. So if I was them, I would pick them up because I'm not high on James Conner. I don't think he's that good, to be honest. But this is going to be a big test. I think Roethlisberger's arm is going to be tested here. We're going to find out about his arm. And we're going to find out a lot about this Pittsburgh team. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with them obviously covering because they're, I guess they're underdogs by one, whatever. But I'm going to go with them. And I just remembered, I'm sorry, Trevor picked Tampa Bay. My bad. And he also picked Pittsburgh. I do not have a clue if we picked different teams. Yes, we did. The Dallas team is the only team game we got different so far. All right, and final game, Patriots fans who have been waiting for it. Because we always see you guys laughed on purpose. 49ers will be hosting Patriots at Foxborough Stadium. The Patriots are favored by 2.5 points, interestingly enough. David Andrews is available to come back, I believe, this week. He should be available to come out of IR. So the offensive line, for the most part, outside of, we don't know if Lemonar is going to be back, the starting right tackle. I'm not sure he's going to be back for the game or not. But if he is, they might have the healthy offensive line that they had back at week 1 and I believe week 2 also. So that's going to be great for Cam because the run game will be back. That will be good for Damian Harris because the run game will be back, which will open up a lot of things for this offense. The 49ers were very conservative in Sunday night going against the Rams. They didn't let Jimmy Garoppolo do a damn thing. They said, all you got to do is throw 2 yards in front of you and do not F this up for us, please, for the love of Christ. That's basically the game plan was. If that's going to be the game plan for the New England Patriots, they're going to have a massive issue because, Belichick is already going to be taking the sort stuff away. Raheem Mostert's back. Deebo Samuel is back, and this will be, I believe, his third game back, if I'm not mistaken. So the 49ers are healthy for the most part, outside of the big injuries they suffered against the Jets. No Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas company. I believe Sherman's also not back. I'm not sure if he's back for this game or not. This is going to be a good game. Unfortunately, it's going to suck for my heart. But I'm, for some reason, confident. Belichick usually shows up in big games like this, because this is a big game for both teams. Belichick usually puts out the good cards when it's time. And this Patriots team needs this win more than anything right now. I'm this close to saying that the Patriots are close to their playoffs. Because to go down 2-4 is a massive issue in this conference. For once, as of right now, this AFC conference is decently strong. Every conference, maybe outside of the AFC West, might have 2 playoff teams this year. Possibly even 3 with the AFC North, with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland. The South will have the Tennessee Titans and most likely the Colts. And the West will definitely have Kansas City, and the Las Vegas Raiders are really making a push. So that wild card spot is very tight. Very tight in the AFC conference this year. With the additional seeding, of course, it's still very tight. So it's getting very close. It's almost desperation time for this Patriots team, and they need this more than anything. And from what I know, watching this team for 13 plus years, they show up when the dice are rolled, and the dice is basically getting rolled now. On the craps table. I'm going to go with New England Patriots here. I think they're going to barely cover this spread. It's going to be a freaking barn burner, freaking slobber knocking game that's going to take 5 years off my life. Just like when they played in Foxborough in 2012. And I'll explain why. Enough of me being a fan. Let's explain why this will be a New England Patriots win. The losses of that defensive line, although it's been a month, it's still going to show in this game, assuming the Patriots will boast a healthy offensive line. Cam Newton will not look anywhere near as bad as he looked last week with some practice, a week off of just coming back off of COVID. That's not a thing anymore. And hopefully the receivers will actually be in sync this time, because that was a big issue last game. More so on N'Keal Harry, which at this point he needs to show up, because the bust stamp, I already put ink on it, especially with so many too. I already put ink on it. His name is not off. His name is not off. He needs to show up at some point, because this team desperately needs him to. I said that during our guide to 2020, that if N'Keal Harry doesn't show up, this team is doomed. And is already rearing his ugly head. Is already there. Because Julian is obviously washed. Obviously. There's nothing clear in that to me, outside of us not having much of a run defense. This painfully obvious receiving core is absolutely putrid. Arguably worse than when it was last year. He needs to show up. He needs to find a way to become a viable receiver. He doesn't even show up. He doesn't have to be a first round receiver. Just show up as a receiver worthy of being an NFL player. Okay? It's just that simple. The fact that you weren't able to get open at all against the Denver Bronco is an embarrassment. He only had 2 targets, and one of those targets was the game-losing incompletion. And people are going to blame Cam Newton or blame the offensive line for the pressure that he had in that play. But if I'm not mistaken, I saw this in a Patriots coverage, that if you look at the play in the All-22, the cornerback being N'Keal Harry actually had inside leverage against N'Keal Harry in that last 4th down play. Why was it that N'Keal Harry cut inside instead of cutting outside, when he should have known that the inside coverage was held with that corner? That's why Cam Newton threw on the outside, even under pressure. he needed to cut outside and he didn't. I don't understand why it's so hard to get these comp sets by now, but apparently it is. I understand that he basically missed 2 off seasons, one from injury and one from pandemic. But for the love of Christ, come on now. This team needs you and needs you now. I'm lying, they needed you 3 weeks ago. And he hasn't shown up at all. He needs to show up. It's just that simple. I said this team was one receiver away, one reliable pass catcher away. And I stand by that. I almost want to say they're 2 away. I'm hoping that this game, maybe a CSC gets some playtime and actually gets the ball. Because the fact that there's no tight end threat is really hindering this team also. And if anybody remembers Cam Newton's rep back in Carolina, he absolutely loved throwing the tight ends. Absolutely loved it. Greg Olsen was a monster with him when they were together. They need a tight end threat. It'll open up the offense so much. I don't think the Patriots can afford to redshirt these tight ends. No, he needs to play. They need to play. At least one of them do, okay? Please? This is a winnable game. This is a winnable game. This team has a secondary to slow down their pass attack, especially since it's not even that prolific. The problem is that Adam Butler went down last week. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to be back because it's a little early. It's Wednesday. I'm not sure if the injury report is going to be accurate, so I didn't bother looking at it. But the Patriots are thin at DT, and Mostert might be a problem. So that's the only scary thing about the Patriots defense that has to happen. But they did get a run on a bit last week, but they still only held the Broncos to 18 points, 6 field goals, no touchdowns. So the defense, I know, will do its thing, and I'm very sure that the Patriots defense will hold the San Francisco 49ers to under 24 points. So all you need is 24 and more. And that's totally doable with this injured defense, especially if there's no Richard Sherman. So, Patriots offense, Cam Newton, offensive line, Belichick. Get this done. I'm going with the Patriots covering this 2.5 point spread. And surprisingly enough, Trevor, again, wish he was here, actually went with the San Francisco 49ers, having us go down to 2-4. I know you guys will love to hear his explanation. I guess you might have to wait until hopefully Sunday's episode. Hopefully he'll be able to be there and record with me. Hopefully he'll be there. He'll get to explain why before we go over that game. I believe those are all our picks. Those are all the games. I got them all. Yes, I did. I didn't forget one this time. All right. So that'll do it. I have a lot of comments on the Patriots. I have a lot of comments on Bill Belichick, the GM version, because I have a lot of things to say. But I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to wait to see what happens on Sunday afternoon's action. And if the Patriots are like garbage and the talent pool shows itself being garbage, I have a lot to say about GM Bill. But until that, I will bid you adieu. Again, go to our podcast networks. Or that's not the way to say it. Go to our platforms, rather. Our iTunes, our Spotify's, all of the above. Okay, let's go India for supporting us. We love you very, very much. Again, we have a YouTube channel. How about you go over there and check us out? You can see this beautiful face. And my jerseys, especially the one that's missing because we play like garbage. Every time my team plays like garbage, I throw the jerseys in the floor. But I'm not throwing the Stephon Gilmore jersey in the floor because it's white. So I'm not trying to have it dirty and put it in the wash all the time. So I will not put that in the floor. But the James Devlin one that I have that I usually wear for game time, that is all over the floor, stepped all over because that's exactly how you play. We play like basura. So that's why I stepped on it like if it was basura. Anyway, enough of that. I'm sure Patriots fans love that. Enough of that. But we have a YouTube channel. Go support, go like, subscribe, share it everywhere. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, guys. Help us out. Join us. We want to hear you guys. All the small rant that I basically just went through on my New England Patriots. I want to hear you Patriots fans, what you got to say. I want to hear you San Francisco fans to see what you got to say. I want to hear against the Bills fans because you guys look like garbage the last 2 weeks. See what you got to say about your team and your bye week against the Jets. I want to hear about you Browns fans. See what you got to say about Baker Mayfield, how gross he is. I want to hear from you guys. Come on the show and come support. Come come here and talk to us and debate with us if we have to get to that point. If you guys got to cry about your gross teams or your bad situation or your bad injuries, or if you want to laugh at the New England Patriots on camera, if you want to make fun of them, you want to make fun of me, you want to make fun of Trevor, you want to make fun of your next door neighbor, whatever you want to do, go ahead and come here and do that, because this is the place for you. Like I said, this is your stage. This is our dynasty. We're taking over the sports media, and that's what we're going to do together. Plain and simple. I love you guys. Peace out. And like Trevor always says, peace, love, and